Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today we're talking Sex in the City. So this is my third part of My Motherboard Myself, Season 4, Episode 8. And again, I was recording with Colin and Nick. They're from Best Supporting Podcasts. They're some of my favorite people I've ever recorded with. We had the best time. We were only supposed to talk for like 30 minutes, but an hour and a half later, we're still talking about the episode, the behind the scenes stuff, just all the fun we had. I mean, it was great. We had the best time. So I'm excited for you to hear this last part. So we left off. Carrie was still being a dick to Aiden. Remember, he bought her that fancy new computer. And we pick up where she's just being a jerk to him. So he ends up leaving his key there at her place. And we're going to go into the Miranda's mother's funeral of it all. So let's get into this episode.
Getting there. And then he walks away.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's a terrible. I could see that coming like 3 miles away. But also it's like, that's what we're given. But he makes it work. It's a little
he does.
schmaltzy. Colin loved it, I bet.
But could you imagine in real life?
Someone said that to me,
Colin would have took that laptop and
like,
smashed it over his head.
yeah, I would have just turned and leapt out the window with the laptop and be like, forget both of us. You know? I would have grabbed the zip drive on the way out.
That's great. Oh my gosh. So, so then we go over to Samantha, still trying to get there, very frustrated. Charlotte calls and she says, Charlotte, I'm masturbating. I told you I'd be doing that all day today, which is great.
That's such an important call.